basically it's a giant frozen river that is being fed by a giant frozen lake. So our Columbia Icefield sits at about 3,000 meters elevation. Where the snow meets the sky is where the icefield starts, and then it travels about 10 kilometers across to BC and 20 kilometers south and north up the backsides of the mountains along the Icefields Parkway. So it is the largest ice field in the Canadian Rockies. It sits at about 165 square kilometers. And for those of my friends on here from BC, you can basically fit one Vancouver inside our ice fields. That is how big it is. Or about 34 Banffs for anybody that's visited Banff on this journey. And then of course the ice fields is always feeding into the glacier, so that is why we call them the ice falls, because it's like a big frozen waterfall, and it moves anywhere between 75 meters and 125 meters a year. So about 60 centimeters a day it slides down, feeding the glacier in the valley there. So right now we are on the lateral moraine of the Athabasca. So lateral meaning side, moraine is a fancy French word for a pile of dirt and rock. So as the glacier was pulled down by gravity, as it receded, this dirt and rock got pushed up the sides, creating a big bowl as to where the glacier used to sit. So it leaves behind some great landmarks of the glacier's movements in the valley over the past 170 years. So if everybody looks out their right-hand window over to the tree line on the far side of the valley there, and that other pile of dirt and rocks, from here to there, that would have been the minimum height of our glacier back in 1843. So if we were taking this tour out here in the 1800s, we would be heading straight out onto the ice right now instead of down a descent that we have ahead of us. 52913. Glacier's movements. So the lateral moraine has actually been studied for a very long time, and scientists believe it moves about a meter to the right and a meter down each year. So that doesn't seem like too much, but for this massive wall of dirt and rock that runs all the way from the transfer bays where you came up this whole left side of the glacier, all the way up to the end of the Athabasca, slowly eroding away, all that dirt and rock needs somewhere to go, so it ends up going down and piling on top of the glacier. Reclaimed by Mother Nature. You can't even tell that there was any human impact there from previous seasons from our road being put in. It all looks very natural. Most paved roads in North America have a maximum grade of about 18%. So we are doing double that. We are on the steepest unpaved commercial road in North America. Our Ice Explorers were made specifically for this road. We are driving a 6-wheel drive on 6 Terra tires. So we fill these tires with 20 psi, which is half a car tire, so that they can easily maneuver this moraine, go over all of the large rocks and boulders we have ahead of us, and we don't chew up that glacial ice when we head out onto it. So each of our tires on this Ice Explorer costs about $4,500. We have them made one of a kind by Michelin, and they are 3-layered rubber tires, unique to shape and size for our Ice Explorer. And we switch about We are on the ice cord moraine, so the glacial ice is actually about a meter underneath us. I gave you a little hint of this back there as I was saying. The lateral moraine erodes down onto the glacier. And it's actually good for the glacier because it's insulating the glacial ice underneath us here. So as you can tell, if everybody looks out the right-hand window, from the road we are at right now down to the naked part of the glacial ice there's quite a height difference. So that is actually also the melting difference of the glacier compared to this part. So it's just like putting a drink in a cooler and keeping it cold. This glacial ice is protected by being insulated by this dirt and debris. gets the definition of a glacier, which is a moving block of ice. This part of the glacier does not move. It is stagnant, which means that the glacial ice underneath us is actually probably some of the oldest ice we have in the valley here. Because as I told you, the newest ice is replenished in the ice stairs up ahead. Go out here soon enough today. We actually normally need them to come out here and work on our road 6 to 8 times a day. Because of course our road is on the ice. And it is melting. It's just melting a lot slower. So it's shifting and changing throughout the day, every day. Which means every time we come back here, our road can look completely different. So our Athabasca Glacier today sits about 5 kilometers long, 1 kilometer wide, and at that turnaround point where you see the other ice explorers, it's about 250 meters thick. So just shy of the height of the Eiffel Tower in glacial ice. So when you head up to the skywalk from the top of the glass to the bottom of the canyon, that's about 290 meters deep. So that'll give you a really good visual of the thickness of the glacial ice that you're going to get to stand on today. Here, so we can get that dirt and debris off of our tire before we head out onto the glacial ice. As of course you can see, it's already got a lot of that itself. Our cleaners have been off. Just kidding, that's actually natural. That is something called cryoconite. So the wind picks up dirt, dust, CO2, and particularly right now ash particles, and they land on the surface of the glacier. And we've all heard of the albedo effect. Even if you've never heard of the term, I'm sure you've worn a black shirt on a hot day and definitely regretted it. It is the same as how the glacier is affected in the sun's light. So the snowy white parts of the glacier reflect back about 80% of that sun's heat into the atmosphere, whereas the dark parts, the parts with cryoconite, absorb about 80% of that heat and melt a lot quicker. So of course we don't want to add to that, especially with the increasing wildfires and CO2 in our atmosphere. So that is why we dam up that glacial meltwater to use before we head out onto it. So that actually happens because of fertilification. So snow has about 90% air in it. As it gets compressed down to ice in our freezer, it has about 50% air in it. As it gets compressed down to so it is a very compressed ice cube. And so when the sun shines down on it, all the colors of the rainbow are separated because we have glacial hazards around us that we want to keep you safe and away from. Along with that, if you can stay in front of all of the ice explorers, you're welcome to get photos on the side of the buses, but please don't go past the tail end as we've got massive blind spots. I don't want to turn anyone into a pancake today. We are going to have 30 minutes out